I'm Kim Holly. I am a holistic sleep coach, an IBCLC, and a peaceful parenting educator. I have two master's degrees in maternal and child public health and cultural anthropology. So I started my career working in public health and working on as a project officer on programs to support birth outcomes and reducing infant mortality. And eventually I decided I wanted to be around my kiddos more when I had my first. And so I quit my job and got into peer-to-peer lactation support, and actually had taken a different sleep certification before I found holistic sleep coaching. So I was doing a little bit of sleep support already, but knew I wanted something that was going to take it deeper, and give me more knowledge and more tools. I honestly think I got a Facebook ad or something along those lines, and that's how I first found, Emma and Lindsay, and I was like, "Ooh, this sounds interesting. I'm just gonna sign up, but I'm not getting another sleep certification, so I'm just gonna see what they have to say." And then I was so impressed with just the deeper knowledge, right? The science behind sleep, the clear evidence-based, emphasis. And I reached out to Lindsay and probably grilled her on a bunch of questions to make sure it was actually gentle, right? And not just pretending to be gentle. And then I was going to sign up and it was going to be, more sleep training focused. So that was something I was really feeling out. And then, of course, it was awesome and gentle and really ticked all the boxes for me. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get more of the science, right? More of the deeper level knowledge, a broader discussion around the factors that shape sleep, and more practical strategies. Like I really felt like I didn't have enough practical strategies to deal with the messiness of the reality of working with families, as opposed to just the like, oh, it's great to know it's normal. But when you're in the middle of really messy situations with families, you need to have an array of tools to help support them. And so I was looking for that, and it seemed like holistic sleep coaching program was going to give me a lot of that. For me, my biggest fear was, is this actually gentle? And are they actually going to give me practical strategies? Right. That was the biggest one. A secondary one that's pretty personal to me, I'm blind, and a lot of platforms are not accessible using my screen reading software. And so for me, it was, am I going to actually be able to access all the content? And is this company going to work with me if there are accessibility challenges? And so that's always something I'm teasing out with any sort of online course or online certification is, do I get full access, or am I going to be struggling and not be able to access all the materials? And so, I mean, it was fine. I don't actually remember how I felt that out with them, but it was totally fine. And the platform was lovely, and I could access everything. And Emma and Lindsay are, of course, always both open to feedback and figuring out a creative workaround if something is needed. And I think maybe my last concern or fear was just around, am I going to get some direction for how to take seeing parents for sleep as this very side thing that I'm doing because I still have very young children, to something that I can actually make a legitimate income from? Because I knew I didn't want to go back to a public health job. I knew I didn't want to work in an office. But it's one thing when I have really little kiddos for me not to be making sort of an equivalent salary, and it's another thing long term. And so I definitely had concerns around, will I get some direction to build like a proper business, right? As opposed to like, oh, I teach some classes and help some parents on the side. I feel really happy and blessed that I have a pretty steady flow of one-to-one clients, and that over the years I've been able to carve out a way of working with parents that really plays to my strengths. And I think we all do this as sleep coaches. We all take the knowledge that we have and then adapt it to the way that we actually work with parents. And so I work with parents deeper and longer, and with larger packages than a lot of coaches do, and I love it. Um, I have a group coaching program now that I'm slowly but steadily building up into the number of families that I'm bringing in to that in order to serve more people, but also not feel like I have to be maxed out on one-to-one clients all the time, to have a little bit more flexibility in my schedule, and I love that. Um, I remember the first time I sold a higher ticket package and was just like absolutely wow that somebody would hand over that much money to me to support them. And it's been fun to look back and be like, oh my gosh, how my prices have evolved, over the years to really be able to support the parents in the ways that I want, in a way that's also sustainable for me as a business. I just love how deeper I'm able to work with parents. I think one of my favorite testimonials was from a mom who basically said that working me was like having a coach, a therapist, and a best friend all rolled into one because we're able to really, I mean, like truly look holistically and so many things that indirectly affect how you cope with sleep and really be able to show up and wade through anxiety and messiness and challenging situations. I never would have had the confidence to tackle some of the subjects and topics and suggestions that I do now with my clients. Staying in scope, of course, but because of that deeper level of knowledge I've gotten, from experience, but starting with holistic sleep coaching certification.